Hi, I'm Jeremy, the lead developer of a new API tool called Callosum. Callosum is an API design and development tool that automates a lot of the tedious work involved in writing OpenAPI specs. In this video, I'll walk through how to create a basic spec from scratch. We'll focus on GET requests here with some parameter validation. Check out the next video for POST requests or automatic one-click JSON schemas. Other videos in the series will include security, authentication, documentation, and other advanced features. To start off this spec, I'll add the server address to the environment section on the left. I'm using the JSON placeholder API by Typicode, which is great for testing API tools like this. Next, we'll just start creating some endpoints. First up, the list posts endpoint. This is just a GET request to /posts. Simple and straightforward. So I can immediately click send and see the results of that request. We can even add optional query parameters such as a filter for user IDs. I can hit send on that and see that all of the posts in our list have now been filtered to a specific user ID. This query parameter is optional, so we can just toggle it on and off with the checkbox and see the results of those toggles. So next, we'll add a GET post endpoint. So get a single post by ID. So it's a GET request to /posts with the post ID path parameter. We'll see we're using the OpenAPI standard of curly brackets for this path variable, and that Callosum recognizes it and gives us the box to type in that value. So I can immediately type in 42 when we retrieve post ID number 42. By default, any parameters that we use are just strings, so there's no real validation on these, but we can restrict it in this case to integers and see some of that in action. So now we'll see that I'm restricted. I can't use a string text of ABC here because it must be an integer. Callosum is offered with a free unlimited trial period, so if you use it in your business or want to support our continued development, we'd really appreciate it if you have purchased a license. So now we've got two endpoints. How do we actually preview this OpenAPI spec? Callosum is always generating the spec. What you see in the app is exactly what you get in the spec. There's no custom formats to learn, no extra export or build steps. Every feature of Callosum uses the OpenAPI standards and extensions within it. So here we can see our list post endpoint, and we can see our get post endpoint. Let's add some more endpoints for viewing users. So the first one I'll add will be a get user to get a single user. And this will be a get to /users with, again, another path parameter of user ID. And we can see that entering this in, we get exactly what we expect. We can also restrict this one to an integer since we know that that's what it is. And we can add another list users. As expected, this is a get to /users, and we can do that as well. So we can add a query parameter for things like email, which is one of the things that this API supports. And we can pick a specific user email address like Julianne here as part of that filter. So we just add that in, we can click send, we see that in action. So while this is still a string, we also do support JSON schema formats. So we can tell it that this is an email address. Again, it'll do that validation. If we ever try to enter something in that's not an email address, it will tell us. All right, so our list of endpoints is definitely getting a little bit bigger. We've got 4 of them here now. Let's add some tags to group them together. For our list users endpoint, we'll add it to a users tag. And for any of our post endpoints, we'll just add them to a posts tag. So you can see that it's automatically done these into collapsible groups here, and we can just drag and drop our others on top of those tags to recategorize them. Pretty simple and straightforward. So finally, to wrap up this video, let's add a few bits of description to the metadata for the spec. Right now it just says new API. It's not very informative. So we can click edit here And this will edit some of the metadata. We'll call this the JSON placeholder API. This has JSON placeholder mock data. And we'll just take a short description from the website and link to the website for external documentation. We can also update version information if we have any version number in there, and we can add in contact information, for example, that this is made by Typicode, and the address for that developer. So also we know that the JSON placeholder GitHub repository is licensed using the MIT license, and we can add that in just with a quick selection. So once that's all done, we can now see it rendered for us, and we can click right back over to the OpenAPI and see all of that work in place. So now we've got an OpenAPI spec that's easily transferable to any of our colleagues, and we can just start sharing this right away. Check out the next video and we'll start adding a little bit more validation to these endpoints.